And let me get to this first before I get to the story that I found on Yahoo. Since the trade of Luol Deng, a lot of people are mad at the fact that the Bulls are actually winning. Isn't that the idea? Isn't that the bleeping idea? No matter what the circumstances, no matter what people, no matter what fans say, huh? Herman Edwards said it best.
You play to win the game.
And in case you didn't hear that to the quote-unquote fans of sports, let me say that again.
You play to win the game.
That's what the Bulls have done. 6 out of 8 going into tonight's game in Milwaukee. I'll say it again about the Bulls. The only thing, aside of this trade of Luol Deng, the only thing that has hurt this team in the Tom Thibodeau era has been injuries. And you know he's got to be going out of his mind. Putting a team together, dealing with all the injuries that he's had to deal with. We'll just have to see how the rest of this season pans out. And are they going to tank this season? No, they're not. I'm sorry. I hate to bust a lot of fans' bubble that think they know what's going on, but they don't. They're not going to tank the season. They're not going to purposely lose just to get a high draft pick. In fact, I'm even inclined to think that the Bulls will sneak in the playoffs. It's wide open in the East because the two best teams right now are Indiana and Miami. Everything else is a crapshoot. Everything else is a crapshoot. And I'll leave it at that. Snowman in the Morning presented by TCF Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. TCF, surprisingly, TCF. Visit tcfbank.com for more information. If it seems like I'm extremely hyped right now, I am, because we had an emergency, dealt with it. Thank you, Feds. I appreciate it. For those of you who tuned in, we were going for part of the morning. Then I got called into an emergency. Emergency has been handled, and now we're back. I found this. Fitz is really trying to get on. You mean Miami, then Indiana? No, Fitz. I said it right the first time. Indiana, then Miami. I found this story on Yahoo late last night, and a state championship football coach claims to be fired for running up the score. A Virginia high school released a statement on Wednesday claiming the leader of its state championship football team resigned to focus more on his family, but the coach is claiming administrators didn't renew his contract for running up the score in a state championship game. Bishop Sullivan Catholic High School coach Carl Turner's departure is chronicled in the Virginian Pilot. You can go to virginiapilot.com and read that story. And the only certainty is that the man who led the Crusaders to a Division II state championship is out of a job. Turner told the paper he received a text message Wednesday from BSCHS Athletic Director Corey Mistretta at 6:30 a.m. and had an ominous feeling about his future. Today's my day, he reportedly thought. A few hours later, the school released this statement. Quote, Coach Carl Turner has decided to step down from his position as head football coach at Bishop Sullivan Catholic High School. Coach Turner expressed that he would like to spend more quality time with his family, enjoy watching his son play college football, and focus on his professional career. Close quote. Turner's son Pierce was an all-state senior linebacker this past fall when his father captured the VISAA Division II Coach of the Year honors. When Pierce received interest from several Division I schools, Carl wasn't prepared to give up his coaching reins. Turner said, quote, when I got into Dennis Price's office, he looked at me and said, we're not going to renew your contract. I asked why. He said, because we told you not to run up the score and you chose to run up the score on teams. What? Bishop Sullivan started the season with a 37-0 win over Isle of Wight Academy and won all 12 games by an average of 27.5 points. The largest margin was a 62-6 defeat of Newport News Hampton Roads Academy on October 25th. I've seen worse scores than that, and I've called worse scores than that. Turner said, quote, and I agree with this statement, a real man would have fired me the day after the last game, claiming he was coached in the original statement. But I got fired because I run up the score on opposing teams. They told me not to, and I defied them, and I did it anyway. Turner was suspended 2 games. There's more to the story. Turner was suspended 2 games earlier in the season after hosting a post-game party at his home. He allegedly discovered several players drinking and self-reported the issue to Mistretta. Okay, isn't that what a coach is supposed to do? Be a leader and set an example? He caught some kids drinking. He reported it. And he is the one that gets suspended. Well, shouldn't the kids get suspended for drinking? But running up you want to fire a coach for score when his largest margin of victory was 62-6? I got news for you. That's not a good reason to fire a coach. For running up the score, you can't come up. You mean to tell me, as an athletic director, you can't come up with a better reason than that? There is more. I'm going to research this, and I'm going to really look into this. But from what I'm reading right now, just with this story last night, you're going to fire a coach for running up the score. Again, I read this. The largest margin of victory this season was 62-6. Okay, I have covered games with worse scores than that. I did a playoff game in 1997, a Chicago Public League playoff game, where their final score was, ready for this, 82-8, and that was with a running clock early in the first half. $82-8, and no one said a word about that, except the players that were involved in that game, and I've run into them. They still to this day laugh about the score. You gonna tell me that a coach gets fired for winning a state championship in a dominant fashion, and the largest margin was 62-6 when you got schools across the country, especially I forgot where this was, especially a high school that wins 91-0, and the losing coach complains, and then investigation happens, and there's no wrongdoing? You want to call this wrongdoing? Are you kidding me? What the hell is wrong with some people? Don't you want to be the absolute best at what you do? Don't you want your team to be recognized as the best for that season? This is just absolutely crazy. And Carl Turner out in Virginia may have a case. Again, I'm going to look up more of this story, and I'll come back on Monday with an even better opinion after I get a chance to really look at all the details. But from what I'm seeing right here, this is stupid. This is flat out stupid. You got teams putting up 90-plus points on another team, and there were a few complaints about that. Again, the highest scoring game I ever called was 1997 when Dunbar defeated Steinmetz. I'm sorry, Mark, I have to bring this up. 82-8 in a playoff game. When you have a colossal mismatch in football and the teams know it, come on, they go ahead and they play the game anyway because it's on their schedule. Sorry if the team is as good as you made it out to be. Sorry if the team was better than you made it out to be and they went out and proved it. They went out and proved it. And he did his job for catching a couple of team members drinking. He reported it. in a case like that, if you're going to suspend the coach 2 games, you may as well suspend the kids 2 games also. They're the ones that did the dirty deed. My gracious. Can you tell this is a potluck Friday? It really is. All right, we're going to pause for a break, and then I have the question of the day, and it involves game shows. Hold on to your hats. Snowman in the morning, back in 2 minutes.
iGo Car Sharing, dedicated to creating a robust and seamlessly integrated transportation system that's ubiquitous, convenient, and affordable for individuals, and provides the region with expanded economic development opportunities and exemplary environmental performance. Since its inception in 2002, iGo has worked to catalyze a set of transportation innovations that make it feasible and desirable for Chicago residents to get around conveniently and economically without having to own a car, and at the same time reduce vehicle miles traveled and greenhouse gas emissions. A mobility system that is independent of private car ownership requires solutions that use resources efficiently, saves residents money, and decreases the individual and regional ecological footprint. It allows residents to easily choose between multiple modes of transportation to move from point to point quickly, inexpensively, and conveniently. Innovative information technology can integrate both trip planning and service payment across all types of transit, including rail transit, commuter rail, local bus rapid transit, and more. Visit us online at igocars.org and find a location nearest you. iGo Cars, Chicago's only hometown nonprofit car sharing company.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster hitting stations. Slugmaster hitting stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors, teams or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster baseball and softball hitting aids, turning batters into hitters.
Gigahertz, providing customers with excellent service since 2008. Computer problem? Leave it to the staff at Gigahertz, priding themselves with an unparalleled work ethic and continuing to offer customers the lowest prices around. Gigahertz services include PC repair, networking, PC setup, custom PC builds, pickup and delivery, in addition to in-home and in-office service. Get small to large business solutions, service contracts, and much more. Computer problems? Gigahertz. And that's where we come in. Gigahertz for your computer repair and solution needs. In-home, in-store, wherever it's convenient for you. Think your PC's infected? Gigahertz offers free virus diagnostics, with most virus removals done in 48 hours or less. Plus, they'll optimize your PC. Take that, Best Buy. Give Gigahertz a call. 219-218-9323. That's 219-218-9323. Or log on to gigahertzpc.net. Gigahertz, and that's where we come in.
My general manager's had his coffee. Oh, Lord. Remember the question I tried to do about Red Bull or coffee or Mountain Dew? I am not doing that one again. Snowman in the Morning, presented by Fusion Ions Bands. This portion presented by American Family Insurance of Maryville, Indiana. Call our good friend Joel Drass at your 219-945-3040 and find out how you can get all of your insurance under one roof. Headed for the second hour, where we will have our divisional playoff pigskin picks. Oh, man, I nearly fumbled that. And then Matt Rinkars will join me at 45 beyond the second hour. But now it's time for our Gigahertz question of the day, presented by Gigahertz, the official computer solutions company of the Arena Sports Network. Gigahertz, and that's where we come in. I've been wanting to do this for a while. And Josh Chambers just whispered in my ear something I cannot repeat on the air. He's helping us out here on the show. I've been wanting to do this a while. I've talked video games. I've talked food. I've talked more video games. He gave me the suggestion of coming up with a question that would stun everybody. I believe I have one, and it goes like this. Now, unless you have lived under a rock, and I mean this kiddingly, for the past 40 years, you are familiar with The Price is Right. Now, that brings my gigahertz question of the day. If you had a chance to appear on that show and can play one pricing game, what would it be? I'm going to, and I'm getting a couple of great answers already. My GM in my ear whispered cliffhangers, and I think there's a double-sided reason to that, because a lot of people, when it comes to cliffhangers, are just plain, I mean this playfully, they're just plain evil. Why? Because they want to see that cliffhanger bite the dust. They want to see the cliffhanger go over the cliff. But I saw an episode in 1981 where the cliffhanger actually went over the cliff, but the contestants still won because the machine was messed up at the time. And anybody who has watched The Price is Right knows the most popular game on that show premiered in '83, and it is Plinko. If I had my choice, I know I said which one game would you like to play. I think I'm going to change that. If you could pick 5 of your favorites, what are they? What 5 games would you love to play if you had a chance to be on The Price is Right? For me, it would be Plinko, of course. It would be Lucky 7. I would love to have a chance to walk the Golden Road. And yes, cliffhangers would be another one. I would try very hard not to see that little SOB go over the cliff, but knowing me, I would destroy it in like the first 2 prizes anyway. And the fifth game is kind of a toss-up because it's a toss-up between the race game and hole-in-one. Reason being, hole-in-one is like miniature golf all over again, and anybody who has been to Cedar Point in Ohio knows Challenge Park and knows how much miniature golf is there. See, that would probably, hole-in-one would probably be the most difficult one to play because, number one, you got a crowd around you. Number 2, the whole place is quiet. And, oh, yeah, number 3, there's a car on the line. So that probably, with me, would be the most difficult. But those are my 5 that I'd love to play. What are your 5 games that you'd love to play if you had a chance to appear on The Price is Right? I mean, I saw an episode recently in the Drew Carey version where someone won a BMW convertible playing hole-in-one. And the weird part about that particular episode is he was at the closest point, because if you watch the show, you know the trick with hole-in-one to get to the closest line to the hole is to arrange the products from least expensive to most expensive, and there are 6 of them. You do that, you get a bonus, and you get a shot right up in front of the hole. And he knocked that in with no problem and won himself a BMW convertible. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Again, our gigahertz question of the day. If you could pick 5 of your favorite pricing games from The Price is Right, which ones would they be? Tweet your answers to @SnowMorningShow and @ArenaSports13. John Fitzgerald down in Florida gave me a quick answer. Plinko would be his game. And I kind of figured that. You know what we should do, Fitzy? We should design a Plinko game for the Marquette kids. I don't know how we'd pull it off or what prizes we'd have, but we should design a game for the Marquette kids. Let them have a little more fun. All right? Let's let them have as much fun as possible. Second hour, Snowman in the Morning, presented by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. And also by Slugmaster, baseball and softball hitting and training aids. Slugmaster, turning batters into hitters. Tonight, 7 p.m. from the Shoal Student Center in Michigan City, it's a battle for first place in the Greater South Shore Conference as the Bishop Knoll Warriors and the Marquette Catholic Blazers go head-to-head. Marquette 4-0 in the conference, Bishop Knoll 3-0 in the conference. Bishop Knoll has been historically good, especially lately. But Marquette Catholic is off to a good start, and they are mad after what happened last Friday against St. Joe to allow a buzzer beater, and I can tell you those kids are going to be very focused. That's tonight, 7 p.m. We're up at 6:45 with the American Family Insurance pregame show. Now then, second hour of Snowman in the Morning. And it's Friday. It's been snowing like crazy here. And for those of you who are just tuning in, well, there you go. Fitz gave me a great suggestion. We could design a Plinko game for the folks at Marquette, and the prices can be T-shirts and tickets, maybe some food prices as well, because Papa John's is out that way. Oh, yeah, we could do all of that. Now, for those of you just tuning in, got to get everybody updated on what's going on. In the middle of a rant about Dan Le Batard giving up his Hall of Fame ballot, or giving his Hall of Fame ballot to Deadspin, I was called away to an emergency because someone got stuck in the 1.5 feet of snow that we've gotten over the past week here in Chicago. So we had to step off the air. You heard a lot of silence. Apologies for that. Now we're back on, and now we're into our second hour. And the divisional playoff picks are coming in a little bit. I told you about a story where a Virginia coach was fired, and I'm hoping that they resolve this issue and give him his job back. You can't fire a coach for running up the score. There's purposely running up the score, and then there's the fact that your team is just that damn good. There's just the fact that your team is just that good where, and I've seen this before, they can't help themselves. But I'll follow up on that on Monday. And there's a few other things I'm going to follow up on Monday as well. Didn't get a chance to do our basketball digest this week. That'll come your way on Monday. But what I'm going to do is, so there was a basketball game last night at Northwestern. The women took on Purdue, trailed 13-2 at one point, trailed by 9 for much of the first half, got back to within a deuce at halftime at 33-31, and they pulled it out 71-68, knocking off 20th ranked Purdue. And that was a fun game last night. Joe McEwen, you can hear his post-game comments online. And once again on Saturday, UIC women back in action here on the Arena Sports Network as they host Youngstown State. That's at 3, pregame at 2:30. You hear Coach Eric Simpson's scouting report. You hear all the news and notes, and I'll have a special guest at halftime of that broadcast. Going to pause for a break, and when we come back, it's about that time. It's time for the Web Ford playoff pigskin picks for the divisional round. One at a time, I'll tell you who's going to win in 2 minutes.
Need a car in a pinch? Need to get somewhere fast? Don't rent a car, share a car with iGo. iGo provides the convenience and flexibility of having a car without the hassles of owning one. Members have 24-hour access to a fleet of iGo cars in reserved parking spaces all over Chicago and in 4 suburbs. iGo pays for the gas, premium insurance, maintenance, and 24-hour assistance. It's very simple and a great service to take advantage of. All you have to do is pick a plan, reserve a vehicle, and drive off. See? Easy. If you want more info, just visit igocars.org and start sharing today. iGoCars, Chicago's only hometown nonprofit car sharing company.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second? Come on over. How do you feel about mobile banking?
If I could sum it up in one word, easy.
It's so convenient. I actually do a lot of my banking on a mobile app.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
I love mobile banking.
With the TCF mobile app, you can bank anytime, anywhere. So how would you use it?
If I need to check my balance really quick, or if I need to transfer funds really quick, I'll whip out my phone and do the little app.
At the airport yesterday when my flight got canceled and I needed to buy another ticket.
What's the craziest place where you've banked on your phone?
In the bathroom before I got in the shower.
Yeah.
Probably a plane when you're not supposed to be on your phone. They tell you to turn it off.
In bed.
I was in Morocco in the middle of the desert.
Morocco?
Yeah.
There isn't a crazy place for mobile banking. It's convenient.
Download the free TCF mobile app for your smartphone and tablet. Switch to the home of free checking today. For locations and more information, call 1-855-OPEN-TCF or go to tcfbank.com. TCF Bank. Surprisingly connected. Member FDIC.
Some statistics are surprising. Some are unbelievable. And some are simply unacceptable. Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. Nearly 30%. And that's the average. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone, not just parents, but friends and neighbors and family members, to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, push them a little, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through. Because this is one statistic we simply can't afford to ignore.
You can do your part by going to boostup.org and sending an email, a text message, or even a wake-up call to a student at risk of dropping out. Go to boostup.org and provide the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Hey, y'all. I said, hey, y'all. Second half of Snowman in the Morning, right in your ears. 10 after the second hour. And this portion is brought to you in part by Slugmaster Baseball and Softball Hitting and Training Aids. Slugmaster turning batters into hitters. Woo! With everything that's going on this morning, let me say thank you, Lord, for bringing us through the emergency, and thank you for bringing all of us to another day, because a lot of people did not make it. Now, it is about that time where I tell you who's going to win and who's going to lose. I was 3-1 last weekend. I'm hoping for a perfect slate, but given how my picks look, and you all are going to be surprised, we'll see what happens. It's now time for the Wepford Pigskin Picks, the divisional round. And we start on Saturday. And let me tell you, folks, there are some great games this weekend. After what happened last weekend, give you a recap. Indianapolis with a terrific comeback over Kansas City, that final 45-44. The only game that I lost last weekend was New Orleans and Philadelphia. New Orleans gets a late field goal and wins 26-24. San Diego upsets Cincinnati, and San Francisco beats Green Bay. And that leads us to our divisional round, where where both 1 and 2 seeds are in action this weekend. Let's get right to it, to the divisional round, and we will start in Seattle. The New Orleans Saints taking on the top-seeded Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, the number 1 seed, coming into this weekend. They had last weekend off for the wild card, and they see New Orleans for a second time. And the New Orleans Saints, I will tell you right now, have learned a lot of lessons from their last 2 trips. 2 years ago, New Orleans went to Seattle, and Marshawn Lynch busted out his beast mode run, shoving Tracy Porter out of the way in a 41-36 win. And then on a Monday night, they held New Orleans to their lowest point total of the year in a 34-7 rout. That changes Sunday. New Orleans has a long memory, and so does Cool Breeze. It's going to be louder than hell in Seattle. We know that. But Drew Brees and the Saints will go to Seattle and will silence the crowd. Checkmark to New Orleans. The Saints will pull off the upset in Seattle. We go to our second Saturday game, the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots, which is probably going to be one of the most interesting games of the weekend. After the wild finish at Lucas Oil Stadium, where Andrew Luck brought the Colts back from a 28-point deficit, they travel to New England to face one of the most hated teams of the 2000s decade, the New England Patriots. The Patriots have had time to sit around. They've studied Indianapolis. They can study them all they want. I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again this week. Andrew Luck is on a roll. Listen to me again. Andrew Luck is on a roll. The first time these two teams played last year with Andrew Luck as the quarterback, Tom Brady drilled them and hung 59 points on Indianapolis. He ain't going to do it this Saturday. These two teams get together in the playoffs, and most of the time it's in favor of the Patriots because Tom Brady and Bill Belichick put their heads together. That will change this time. The Indianapolis Colts, you heard it here first. The Indianapolis Colts will do something that only the New York Jets have done in the last 3 seasons, or the New York Jets and the Baltimore Ravens, have done in the last 3 seasons, and that is beat the Patriots in New England. And therefore, I am calling for the upset. I say Indianapolis goes to the most wretched hide of scum and villainy called Gillette Stadium, and they get the job done. The checkmark to the Indianapolis Colts. Notice a trend? Both road teams I gave a checkmark to for Saturday. Now we go to the Sunday games, and I'm going to make a switch. I'm going to start in Denver. The San Diego Chargers and the Denver Broncos. Historically, this has not been a good matchup except for the year 1994 when the Chargers went to Denver and beat Denver. The Chargers went to Denver this year and beat Denver on a Thursday night in Invesco Field at Mile High Stadium. You got the well-rested Denver Broncos, a mile high, Peyton Manning setting all kinds of records, 2 of them in particular, most passing yards in a season and also most touchdowns in a season with 55. How crazy is this Denver Bronco offense, especially at home? You would think they'd have all the advantages in the world. Not so fast. They lost 1 game at Invesco Field. Who did they lose to? The team they get to see this Sunday afternoon, the San Diego Chargers and Phillip Rivers. Everybody called me absolutely crazy for saying San Diego can go to Cincinnati and hand Cincinnati their first home loss. Guess what? 27-10, San Diego beat Cincinnati. Phillip Rivers is hot. That offense is hot. And the way you beat the Denver Broncos, you keep the ball out of their hands. Kind of what Drew Brees and the Saints are going to do to Seattle on Saturday. More on that in a moment. I'm going to call another upset. I've got 2 of them so far. Let's make it 3. I will say San Diego repeats the deed that Baltimore did last year in going to Denver and defeating Denver in a divisional playoff. The checkmark to San Diego. And the 4th and final game of the divisional weekend is in Carolina. It's the early game on Sunday. The San Francisco 49ers and the Carolina Panthers. These 2 teams hooked up in a hard-hitting game at Candlestick Park. There was a total of only 19 points in that game, and Carolina got the win by a final of 10-9. Cam Newton led them to the winning points, and the 49ers had 3 shots to take them to go down and get winning points, but Colin Kaepernick was picked off, and the 49ers were forced to punt twice. There are 3 differences in this game. Aldon Smith, Vernon Davis, and Michael Crabtree. Vernon Davis was knocked out of that game in Carolina. I read a post on Facebook from a friend of mine saying that NFL and the rest of fans sound like robots in picking the 49ers, and he predicts that Carolina will win by 2 touchdowns. No, they will not. I don't think Carolina will win at all, because Carolina has not seen the likes of one Alden Smith or Justin Smith. I will give credit where credit is due. Carolina is on a hell of a run. 11-1 to finish the season, snatch the division title from the New Orleans Saints, and clinch the South and the number 2 seed. That comes to an end on Sunday. Colin Kaepernick is red hot. He will go to Carolina, and the 49ers will avenge the loss from 8 weeks ago in Candlestick Park. So I'm calling for all 4 road teams to win in the divisional playoffs. A recap: Saturday, I have New Orleans taking out Seattle, and Indianapolis defeating New England in the Saturday night game. And on Sunday, San Francisco will win at Carolina, and San Diego will win at Denver. 3 of these 4 games, if you look at them, I'm calling for upsets. The 4th one would not be an upset, because most of the populace are picking San Francisco to beat Carolina because of the 3 players that they have back in the lineup. Again, I go back to Indianapolis and New England. Remember last year when Baltimore went to New England and no one gave them a chance? Baltimore had the perfect game plan. How do you frustrate Tom Brady? You pressure him. You blitz him. You blitz the ever-loving hell out of him. Let's see what happens this Saturday. Last week, Old Snowman was 3-1, only losing in Philadelphia. I've chosen all 4 road teams to get the win this weekend in the divisional playoffs. And those are the Web Ford Pigskin playoff picks, brought to you by Web Ford of Highland, Indiana. And I know there's going to be a ton of backlash, but this is why we do this, and this is fun for me to do. Now, I am also going to add this disclaimer, because a friend of mine gave me the good idea to do so. If I'm wrong with these picks, I'm wrong. This is just one man's opinion. All right? This is just one man's opinion, and everybody has their own opinion of who's going to win. I mean, a lot of it's actually split between Frisco and Carolina, but more of the populace is leaning towards San Francisco. Again, these picks are my picks. They are just one man's opinion. I'm advising you to make your own based on what you have learned about the teams that are in the playoffs this weekend. But again, to recap the divisional weekend playoff picks presented by Web Ford, I have New Orleans taking out Seattle in Seattle. I have Indianapolis winning in New England. That's on Saturday. And on Sunday, San Francisco travels to Carolina, and they will get the job done there. And in the late game, San Diego will win at Denver. So all 4 road teams are my selections to win on this division on this divisional playoff weekend. 21 beyond the hour, a break, and when we come back, I have a very special guest and a couple of other exciting announcements. This is Snowman in the Morning. I'll be back.
Anne Marie specializes in premier 5-star vendor and craft shows. She also offers event planning for special events of any kind. Anne Marie's goal is to provide both her vendors and shoppers with an exceptional experience, believing that promotion is the key to any successful event. Anne Marie has developed personal relationships with her vendors and is constantly being sought by vendors who would like to participate in her popular events, often with wait lists for vendors. Working with Anne Marie is an enjoyable, stress-free experience. Anne Marie is a perfectionist and very creative. She is 100% committed to each event from beginning to end and believes that promotion is the key to any successful event. No stone will go unturned as it relates to promotion. For the ultimate in event planning, contact Anne Marie today at 219-741-0435 or visit anne-marieprince.com. Premier events in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana are brought to you by Anne Marie.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster Hitting Stations. Slugmaster Hitting Stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors. teams, or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster baseball and softball hitting aids, turning batters into hitters.
Planning an upcoming event? The completely refurbished Diamond Club at U.S. Steel Yard is available year-round for birthday parties, wedding receptions, business meetings, conferences, and a wide variety of other activities. With a full service bar and the ability to accommodate groups of up to 300 people, the Diamond Club is the perfect place to host your next event. Fully customizable food options through Aramark are also available. Call the Railcats at 219-882-2255 and have the Railcats fashion an event your friends, family, clients, or colleagues will never forget. The Gary South Shore Railcats, redefining fun.
There's at least one place in every community where neighbors still gather and civic pride flourishes. One endless source of inspiration. One night where history is made and the nation's future seems brighter than ever. There's at least one high school serving every community in Illinois, and if you're not in the stands, you're missing out. High school sports are a part of our state's tradition, but it takes the support of the entire community to make it happen. Be a fan. Support your local high school's activity programs. This message is brought to you by the IHSA, celebrating more than 100 years of high school sports and activities in Illinois.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster hitting stations.
Want to get your rankings in the truest form? Want to get the best college news without all the fluff? Then tune into Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. Join Kevin the Swamp Rat Horan as he ranks all the collegiate sports, from football to basketball and baseball to cross country, soccer, and so much more. Don't forget to visit www.kevinhoranrankings.com and sign up for his newsletter buzzing across the country. So if you want the best college news and rankings and see how the pros are outsmarted, tune into Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. The Swamp Rat ranks them right every Wednesday night at 8 on the Arena Sports Network.
Have you ever dreamed of being a karate master?
Yeah!
Well, stop dreaming and start chopping with the Karate Glove.
Hi, my name's Molly, inventor of the Karate Glove, and I have just 1.5 words for you. Hi-ya!
The Karate Glove chops through anything. Just put it on and instantly chop through wood, concrete, brick walls, trees, small cars. It can even chop through these 8 guitars. It chops things.
If I can invent a karate glove, just imagine what you can do. Visit inventnow.org to get started on your invention. Anything's possible. Keep thinking.
Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
It's Hi-Ya time!
At Midwest Interventional Spine Specialists, you can trust in Northwest Indiana's first team in pain management. For more than a decade, the MIST team has proudly served the residents of Northwest Indiana, providing accurate diagnosis and innovative treatments for spinal pain and many other types of acute and chronic pain. Each of our physicians has achieved board certification in as many as 3 different specialties. They are actively involved in ongoing research that keeps their practice on the leading edge of the profession and are often called upon by area hospitals to lecture on pain management. Over the years, each has been recognized as a leader in the field and earned a strong reputation for delivering excellent results and genuine compassionate care. To them, nothing is more rewarding than helping patients with severe pain regain the kind of normal, active life that the rest of us take for granted. For more information, pay us a visit at 8840 Calumet Avenue, Suite 103 in Munster, or give us a call at 219-836-7246. The Midwest Interventional Spine Specialists, first in proven pain solutions, first in patient care.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
I had to work this one in.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about control. And if you can take it, it's all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game. You don't wanna play me. I am control. No way you can shake me. I am heavy debt. No way you can pay me. I am the pain, and I know you can't take
27 beyond the second hour. Matt Rinkar is on the way at 45 beyond. And he's got some good stuff to catch up on. And I know he was scheduled for 45 beyond the hour, but like I said, we had some things happen this morning, got called into an emergency, and I'm just excited to get him on right now. Snowman of the Morning back at you on the arenasportsnetwork.com. And we are presented by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. Monday, we will wrap up the divisional round. Got some feelings on some other odds and ends stuff. We'll take a look at the top 25 according to Swamp Rat's rankings. And he has promised me to get me on his show. If you don't listen, Wednesday nights you will hear Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show, and it's a damn good sports show. An hour of the best college sports talk with Big John Vick and the Swamp Rat Kevin Horan. You can hear that interview every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central here on ASN. And Swampy has promised to have me on his show, but unfortunately the Swamp Rat has been a little sick. He's been under the weather. And as it turned out, he had the flu. Well, I hope you are well and that you continue to get well, Swampy, and I can't wait to join you on the show. Next Tuesday, Lyle Files Live returns, and we got a good one to kick off that series. Mike to Mike comes back next Wednesday. You'll hear a replay of a conversation I had over the summer with Gary Rima, who was recently voted the NSSA Iowa Sportscaster of the Year, and that I could not be more proud of a dear friend than I am of Gary Rima for getting that award. He deserves it. He does an absolutely wonderful job. He is of the Down Goes Kansas fame when Northern Iowa upset Kansas in the NCAA tournament in 2010. We're just about coming down the home stretch here on Snowman in the Morning. Now, I did my question of the day, and Fitzy just tweeted me or just texted me his picks: San Francisco, New Orleans, Denver, and Indianapolis. So see, people know when teams are hot. He matches 3 of my picks: Frisco, New Orleans, and Indy. Denver is who he is going with to beat San Diego, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised in that game either way. But again, Frisco, New Orleans, and Indianapolis, Fitzy and I match on. People know, real fans know that watch sports know when a hot hand is a hot hand. And Fitzy's one of those fans that knows a hot hand. Kaepernick's on a roll. Drew Brees is starting to peak. And Andrew Luck, what can I say? Andrew Luck is Andrew Luck. And with that lucky bounce that he had against Kansas City, where Donald Brown had the ball popped out of his hands, and Andrew Luck picked it up, and alert Andrew Luck picked it up and dove into the end zone for what would turn out to be, it would be a touchdown that got him within 3 at 41-38. Let's do a little on this day, something else we're going to bring back on a daily basis. Today is January 10th, and on this day in 1990, the NCAA approved a random drug testing program among college football players and harsh penalties for drug use. In 1963, the Chicago Cubs became the first baseball club to hire an athletic director. He was Robert Whitlow. A year earlier, the NFL entered into a single network agreement with CBS for telecasting all regular season games for $4.65 million annually. In 1950, Ben Hogan appeared for the first time in a golf tournament since an auto accident a year earlier. He tied Slammin' Sammy Snead in the Los Angeles Open. However, Hogan lost in a playoff. And the most significant one, the year was 1995, and the NHL owners rejected the players' unrestricted free agency proposal, which was 1 year at 32, 5 years at 31, and countered with 3 years at 32 and 3 at 31. And that is on this day presented by Gigahertz. Now, if you have, you'll see on this day on our Facebook page, and you'll also see it on the Arena Sports Network website. If you missed the announcement earlier this morning, the Arena Sports Network is now on TuneIn. And TuneIn, of course, is an application where you can hear stations all across the country. You can now hear ours. The Arena Sports Network is now on TuneIn. Go to tunein.com, search Arena Sports Network, or you can download the TuneIn app and search Arena Sports Network, and you can get us that way as well. 33 beyond the hour, as mentioned. Matt Rinkars is on the way. He'll join us via the Gigahertz hotline. And, man, I haven't had a chance to have him on in a long time, and so much has gone on with him. So much great things have gone on with him, and here he is, the man of Fusion Ions. He's got a lot of stuff. He's just released a new product recently, and also one of the hosts of Unspoken Cures Radio, which you can hear every Saturday. Matt Rinkars now joins me via the Gigahertz hotline. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. How's it going?
It's going great. Good to talk to you again.
Good talking to you.
Now, since we last talked, you had a lot of stuff that happened, and it was. Why don't you just tell the fans what happened? Because something really popped off for you at the tail end of last year.
Sure. So we have, two things are going on at the start of the year, which is very exciting. The first is a brand new Fusion product, and it is called the Fusion Ions EMF Protect. And as many people know, EMF stands for electromagnetic frequencies.
Right.
And it is a type of radiation. This radiation is what's emitted from your cell phone. It's emitted from popular electronic devices, ones that are really of a concern to us, to a human, is going to be any handheld devices, because it's constantly emitting that radiation into the body. And this is something that has recently been featured on CNN with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Right.
Dr. Oz had several episodes about the dangers. Basically, research is now coming out saying that this electromagnetic radiation is harmful, is showing that it's creating cell damage, to the point where the World Health Organization has now classified cellular radiation as a type 2B carcinogen worldwide. So what we've created is based on science has come out of Berkeley, which has basically shown that radiation waves from electronic devices are actually radiating from positive ions. And we know that positive and negative ions have a polarity that's similar to a magnet, and they will neutralize each other. So obviously, our technology with fusion has already been based around negative ions.
Right.
Thus, if we could create a product that could neutralize a positive ion, we're effectively neutralizing radiation. Now, the challenge for us was, how do we get enough negative ion output into something that's small enough to fit into any cell phone case? And our solution was micronizing our patent-pending mixture called Tormamix, which we effectively did. So now the EMF inserts, Protect insert, is 0.2 of a millimeter thick, so it's paper thin. It can fit in any device.
Right.
It fits inside the case. It can fit inside your battery compartment, or it fits directly on the outside of the phone. And it emits, are you ready for this? It emits
I'm ready.
Over 10,000 negative ions per second.
Nice.
So that makes it the strongest portable negative ion device currently available. And through our testing, it eliminates up to 97% of the EMF radiation, as well as stops the heating effect of what radiation normally heats your cells or heats your brain, that is effectively eliminated. And it even helps boost battery power by 13%.
Beautiful.
So it has a lot of so as you can imagine, with the creation of that, we filed a second patent on the EMF Protect specifically.
Yes.
And yeah, within 24 hours of it being available, we immediately were launched in a 500 store retail chain in Canada, and we expect most of the major retailers to pick this product up this year as well.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. Matt Rinkar is joining me via the Gigahertz hotline, talking about his new product and all things going on with Unspoken Cures. Good to have him back on. What inspired you guys to put this product together?
Well, and that is like other discoveries. It was kind of discovered by accident. We had a radiation meter, and we were playing around with the bands, and we realized that when we wrapped the band around a phone, that it dropped the radiation reading. And then as we looked into the science and we got with our R&D, we essentially realized that the reason why it was dropping was the negative ion neutralization of the positive ion radiation.
Right.
So at that point, we decided, okay, well, this is obviously a product, but how do we turn it into a product? So obviously a band, you can't wrap a band around the phone. So the initial thought was cell phone cases, and it was something I did a lot of soul searching on, because for me, I didn't want to get into the cell phone case industry, and you kind of have to. You can't just take a stab at cases. If you decide to come out with a case, you need one for every make, every model. You need different styles. People's personality a lot of times is reflected through their cell phone case.
Right.
And that's why there's so many different styles that are out there. And I realized that we would quickly become a cell phone case provider, and not, it take us away from our focus.
Right.
And that's not what I wanted to do. So then we decided to figure out how we could put this into a smaller package. And again, my concern there was, well, if we do that, how do we make it thin enough to fit anywhere? And that's kind of what led us to this process. Is we got to get with our factory, get with research, figure out how to micronize our mineral mixture and put it into a much smaller package. And frankly, the goal was to get to 4,000 negative ions per second. So the fact that we achieved almost triple that is, we're very, very happy about that.
It's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
It has enough output to even protect like an iPad and bigger devices as well.
That is absolutely amazing, and I am very happy for you guys. The hits just keep coming for you.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of hard work, and we try to be innovative, and we know the power. It all starts with the mixture. We know the mixture is the key, and we worked hard on that, and it produces such a high level of negative ions that, now we're looking at a variety of things to use the mixture on. So, so that's been a big win for Fusion, and we're excited about the next year. And then, of course, Brian, we also have my book, which is actually, believe it or not, it's taking its TV debut today.
Nice.
And it's going to start today, and it's going to run basically throughout the first part of the year, gaining more stations as we go. So the publishing is almost finished on it, so it's almost in print. It'll be ready for shipment soon, and we're very excited about that. And I've built a website, I think, as you've seen, and we're putting together a fantastic support program. We partnered with in my opinion, the best workout tracking system on the planet. So I know you saw some of our early workouts.
Yes.
We've done in a blog format. We actually have upgraded that to where it's going to be in a full tracking system. So you'll go in, you have a profile. It's like a social profile. You'll be able to see the workout, post your times, keep your stats, look at old history, track your food, communicate with other people doing the same workout. It's really going to be an interactive fitness environment for for our members. So obviously everything's going to go along with the metabolic glucose protocol, but it's really going to allow people to stay engaged and have support and make sure they can stay on track to, finally realizing their goals for 2014.
And I have to thank you for turning me on to that and giving me the tips that you gave me, because they've been terrific. My energy level, to say the least, has been through the roof, and my friends and family have noticed. And folks, if you do not hear this man's show, if you haven't heard it at any time, I'm encouraging you to hear it this Saturday, Unspoken Cures. And the title is, and he aptly named it Unspoken Cures because it was called Fusion Power Hour once upon a time. But the more that he and Donald Bear started doing the show, as Matt will tell you right now, the name change was prompted.
Yeah, and here's what we realized is that mainstream medicine is everywhere. It's on every television channel. You always hear about mainstream medicine. However, there's lots of very successful natural remedies to talk about and to get information out on. And that was our goal with the show, is to educate people on other options. All we want to do is provide options.
Right.
So surgery and drugs aren't your only option, and that is very important for people to understand. And that's actually, it's very similar to the book. I really believe that in treating disease and becoming healthier, knowledge is power. And when you understand how the body works and how the body functions, then you have the knowledge to become more fit and actually work with your body instead of working against.
That's true.
If you ask most people that are out there, they don't even really understand how they gained weight in the first place. Well, how can you fix a problem if you don't know why you got there? And there's specific hormonal reasons why people gain weight. There's things they're doing to their metabolism which shows why they gain weight. And until those things are fixed, they're going to be essentially spinning their tires. And not only that, but they're going to be miserable, because the only way they'll know to lose weight is to cut back their food, which creates deprivation, starvation, and it's not fun. We've all, if anyone who's gained weight has been there, we've all had those days with no energy and we feel terrible because we're trying to eat, celery and water, and it's horrible.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that it's not how it has to be. Just like drugs and surgery are not your only options, and that's what the show's about. And as we move forward, we're going to be looking at really exploring all kinds of alternative options to really help the common person. And one of which that we're going to begin with is a segment on memory. And this was something that was very interesting to me, because many people struggle with memory. It's embarrassing when you forget someone's name. It's embarrassing when you run into someone in the grocery store and you don't know who they are. You can't remember, how you met them or whatever it is. And what we're going to talk about is training that you can put your brain through to effectively organize a file. So let's take a filing cabinet.
Okay.
If you were to take that filing cabinet, you had it organized from A to Z, and I said, find the Anderson and Zimmerman file, how long would it take you to find them? A completely organized cabinet. Probably seconds, right? I mean,
right.
It's something that'd be very easy to find. If I took that same filing cabinet and dumped it upside down and spread all the files all over the ground, it would take most people hours. Certainly not seconds.
Right.
And that's a concept, is when you file things in your brain correctly, you are training your brain to have what's called an instant recall memory. So that's something we're going to talk about. And I think I know that when I was evaluating it, my 9-year-old daughter said, I need that. That'd be so valuable for schools. What we're going to talk about is a tool is valuable for school. It's valuable for work, your personal life. I mean, it's been said that sweetest sound that anyone will ever hear is the sound of their own name. So if you can call someone by their first name and remember it, and remember their wife's name and their kids' names at a drop of a hat, you're going to be looked at as intelligent. You're going to be looked at like you have yourself together. And people are going to have it's basically an unspoken commitment to remembering you. Because if you remember them, people feel obligated to remember you. And so anyway, so I think it's going to be a very interesting hour as we discuss that.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it. And you can hear that tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Unspoken Cures Radio is back, and you can hear it live on the Arena, and you can hear it on the Arena Sports Network. Matt Rinkars, my good friend, the founder of Fusion Ions, joining me here via the Gigahertz hotline. Everything that's happening with Fusion Ions, I encourage you all to go check out FusionIons.com, and I also encourage you all to check out Unspoken Cures, because they are exactly that. They are unspoken. They are cures that Big Pharma, as we have talked about before, don't want you to have, and they're going to give them to you. Matt Rinkars, my friend, it is always a pleasure, and thank you. And I'm looking forward to have you on a lot more here in the morning.
Let's do it. I'm always ready.
All right. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate the time, buddy.
No problem. You have a great day.
You have a great day and a great weekend. Matt Rinkars of Fusion Ions joining me here, and that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to have a great weekend. I want you to have a blessed weekend and a wonderful weekend. Make somebody happy. Make yourself happy. And as far as your dreams and your goals go, I remember the words spoken by Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places from '83. Think big, think positive, never show any sign of weakness, always go for the broke. Buy low, sell high, and the most important one, fear, that's the other person's problem. Always remember that. Fast forward and no looking back. That'll do it for us here on Snowman in the Morning on this Friday. We'll be back at you Monday with a wrap-up of the divisional weekend, and I'll go back inside the journey as 2014 begins. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. As I said before, make somebody happy, make yourself happy. Snowman in the Morning presented by Fusion Ions. We're out of here for now. We will be back on Monday with a lot more stuff. Have a great weekend. God bless. Have a great day, and remember to make your next move your best move. So long, everybody. Talk to you Monday.